Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare.
Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day. Don't forget, grab your smartphone and download the Lava Matra app and stay in touch. Guru Maharaj's message is your advantage. The following is a Sri Krishna Chaitanya book compilation given by His Holiness Jaya Pataka Swami Maharaj on November 13th, 2020 in Sri Mayapur, India.
Makakarotivachalam Pangulang Ayateyanim Katithatalahan Vande Sri Gauravanindayanam Paramananda Madhavam Sri Chaitanya Isram Hari Om Tat Sat.
So today we are continuing with the compilation of the Sri Krishna Chaitanya book. Today's topic is entitled as Mahaprabhu relishes describing the character of Sri Madhavendra Puripad. Chaitanya Charitamrita.
প্রভুর পুরী চরিত্র বর্ণন করিয়া আনন্দ শ্রীমুখে মাধবপুরীর অমৃত চরে ভক্তগণে শুনাইয়া প্রভু করে আস্বাদিত.
Thus Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu personally praised the nectarian characteristics of Madhavendra Puri, and while he related all this to the devotees, he personally relished it.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he relished glorifying the pure devotees.
So, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he relished glorifying the pure devotees.
He was in transcendental ecstasy, describing the wonderful characteristics of Madhavendra Puri.
And he was in transcendental ecstasy describing the wonderful characteristics of Madhavendra Puri.
নিতাইকে প্রভুর পুরীর প্রেম মহিমা কথন প্রভু কয়ে নিত্যানন্দ করহ বিচার পুরী সম ভাগ্যবান জগতে নাহি আর.
Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked Nityananda Prabhu to judge whether there was anyone within the world as fortunate as Madhavendra Puri.
দুগ্ধদান ছলে কৃষ্ণ যারে দেখা দিল তিনবারে স্বপ্নে আসি যারে আজ্ঞা কইল.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Madhavendra Puri was so fortunate that Krishna personally appeared before him on the plea of delivering milk. 3 times the Lord gave orders to Madhavendra Puri in dreams.
Sometimes the devotees ask whether the dreams are important.
Sometimes the devotees ask whether the dreams are important.
Madhavendra Puri received orders from Lord Krishna 3 times.
Madhavendra Puri received orders from Lord Krishna 3 times.
He took it very seriously.
He took it very seriously.
One time the Lord said he was left in the bushes.
One time the Lord said that he was left in the bushes.
One time he told Madhavendra Puri he wants sandalwood pulp.
One time he told Madhavendra Puri that he wants sandalwood pulp
Because his body was hot.
because his body was hot.
And one time appeared to Madhavendra Puri, told him to give the sandalwood to Gopinath.
And one time he appeared to Madhavendra Puri and told him to give the sandalwood to Gopinath.
So these 3 dreams were very seriously accepted by Madhavendra Puri.
So these 3 dreams were very seriously accepted by Madhavendra Puri.
যার প্রেমে বশ হইয়া প্রকট হইল সেবা অঙ্গীকার করি জগৎ তারিল.
Being obliged because of the loving affairs of Madhavendra Puri, Lord Krishna himself appeared as the Gopal deity, and accepting his service, he liberated the whole world.
The deity Gopal is still worshipped in Nathdwara.
The deity of Gopal is still worshipped in Nath Dwara
As Srinathji.
as Sri Nathji.
So millions of people have darshan of that deity and are purified.
And many of the people have
Millions.
and millions of people have the darshan of the deity and get purified.
যার লাগি গোপীনাথ ক্ষীর কইল চরি অতএব নাম হইল ক্ষীর চোরা হরি
On account of Madhavendra Puri, Lord Gopinath stole the pot of sweet rice. Thus, he became famous as Kshir Chor, the thief who stole the sweet rice.
The Lord Chaitanya is explaining some of the glories of Madhavendra Puri.
So, Lord Chaitanya is explaining some of the glories of Madhavendra Puri
In our temple in Ishan Temple in Toronto,
in our ISKCON temple in Toronto.
they call it as a new Ramuna.
They call it as New Remuna,
And the deity there is called as Kirchur Gopinath.
and the deity there is called as Kir Chor Gopinath.
So this deity is now world famous.
This deity is now world famous. Haribol.
কর্পূরে চন্দন যার অঙ্গে চড়াইলা আনন্দে পুরী গোসাই প্রেম উত্থালিলা
Madhavendra Puri smeared the sandalwood pulp over the body of Gopinath, and in this way he was overpowered with love of Godhead.
গোপালের পরিবর্তে গোপীনাথের চন্দন পরিবার তাৎপর্য মেলচ্ছ দেশে কর্পূর চন্দন আনিতে জঞ্জাল পুরী দুঃখ পাবে ইহা জানিয়া গোপাল
In the provinces of India governed by the Muslims, there was so much inconvenience in traveling with sandalwood and camphor. Because of this, Madhavendra Puri might have gotten into trouble. This became known to the Gopal deity.
মহাদয়াময় প্রভু ভক্ত বৎসল চন্দন পরি ভক্ত শ্রম করিল সফল
The Lord is very merciful and attached to his devotees. So when Gopinath was covered with sandalwood pulp, Madhavendra Puri's labor became successful.
Since the Lord is known as very affectionate to his devotees,
Since the Lord is known as very affectionate to his devotees,
Bhagavad Vatsala,
Bhakata Vatsala,
and he didn't want to have his devotees put into trouble.
and he didn't want to have his devotee put into trouble,
Causing the provinces of the kingdoms of the mediators.
crossing the provinces of the hindrances of meat eaters.
So he had the sandalwood pulp put on the Gopinath deity.
So he had the sandalwood pulp put on the Gopinath deity.
And this made the loving endeavors of Madhavendra Puri successful.
This made the loving endeavors of Madhavendra Puri successful.
Haribo.
Haribol.
পুরীর প্রেম ও চরিত্র মাহাত্ম পুরীর প্রেম পরাকাষ্ঠা করহ বিচার অলৌকিক প্রেমে চিত্ত লাগে চমৎকার
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu placed the standard of Madhavendra Puri's intense love before Nityananda Prabhu for judgment. All his loving activities are uncommon. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, "Indeed, one is struck with wonder to hear of his activities taught by Srila Prabhupada. When the living entity feels pure spiritual separation from Krishna, Krishna Viraha, he has achieved the prime success of life. When one becomes disinterested in material things, he is simply experiencing the other side of attraction for material things. However, feeling separation from Krishna and engaging in the service of the Lord to fulfill his mission constitute the best example of love of Krishna. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to point out this intense love of Krishna exhibited by Madhavendra Puri. All Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotees later followed in the footsteps of Madhavendra Puri, serving the Lord without personal considerations.
Someone was questioning
So,
Madhavendra Puri
someone was questioning Madhavendra Puri
that his love was showing some parental affection.
His love was showing some parental affection.
Actually, Madhavendra Puri, he was trying to satisfy the desires of Krishna.
But actually, Madhavendra Puri, he was trying to satisfy the desires of Krishna.
And he was always feeling separation from the Lord.
And he was always feeling separation from the Lord.
Lord Chaitanya has taught that we should serve Krishna in separation.
So Lord Chaitanya had taught that we should serve Krishna in separation.
This way, we can achieve the actual level of love for Krishna.
In this way, we can achieve the actual level of love for Krishna.
So, Madhavendra Puri showed this intense love for Krishna,
So Madhavendra Puri showed this intense love for Krishna
and trying to satisfy the desires of Krishna.
trying to satisfy the desires of Krishna.
He accepted all kinds of difficulties.
He accepted all kinds of difficulties.
So we should be so dedicated to spread the movement of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
So we should be so dedicated to spread the movement of Lord Chaitanya
that
Mahaprabhu.
will accept any difficulties to do so.
So we should accept any difficulties to do so.
We see that His Divine Grace, Abhayachan Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada,
We see that His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada,
to spread the Krishna consciousness all over the world,
to spread the Krishna consciousness all over the world,
He accepted many difficulties.
He accepted many difficulties.
And this is a proof of His pure love for Krishna.
So this is the proof of His pure love for Krishna.
People say, how can we serve Krishna if there's difficulty?
People say, how can we serve Krishna if there is difficulties?
But that is the real test.
But that is the real test, Hari Bol.
If the difficulty we're serving Krishna.
Even in difficulties, serving Krishna.
And it's easy to the service if everything is favorable.
It is easy to service if everything is favorable,
But when even there's difficulty, Prabhupada still he tried to carry out the order of his spiritual master.
even there was difficulties, Prabhupada was still trying to carry out the orders of his spiritual master
And spread the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
and spread the movement of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu
all over the world.
all over the world.
So we should follow in his footsteps,
So we should follow in his footsteps,
accepting him as our founder Acharya
accepting him as our founder Acharya
of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
পরম বিরক্ত মৌনি সর্বত্র উদাসীন গ্রাম্য বার্তা ভয়ে দ্বিতীয় সঙ্গহীন।
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued, Sri Madhavendra Puri used to remain alone. He was completely renounced and always very silent. He was uninterested in everything material, and for fear of talking about mundane things, he always lived without a companion.
সেব্যর আজ্ঞা পালনে নিঃসম্বল পুরীর অপূর্ব অধ্যবসায়। হেনজন গোপালের আজ্ঞামৃত পাইয়া সহস্র ক্রোশ আসি বলে বুলে চন্দন মাগিয়া।
After receiving the transcendental orders of Gopal, this great personality traveled thousands of miles just to collect sandalwood by begging.
Receiving the transcendental orders of Gopal,
Receiving the transcendental orders of Gopal
that he wanted sandalwood pulp,
that he wanted sandalwood pulp,
that is available thousands of miles away.
and that's available thousands of miles away.
Madhavendra Puri had no capital.
Madhavendra Puri had no capital.
This was an impossible effort,
This was an impossible effort,
but it didn't cause Madhavendra Puri to hesitate.
but it didn't cause Madhavendra Puri to hesitate.
He knew that Krishna could do anything.
He knew that Krishna could do anything.
So immediately he went to Jagannath Puri.
So he went to Jagannath Puri.
On the way, initiated Advaita Gosai.
On the way, he initiated Advaita Gosai.
He also had the deity of Gopinath stole a pot of kheer for him.
He also had the deity of Gopinath stole a pot of kheer for him.
Then, when he arrived in Jagannath Puri,
And when he arrived in Jagannath Puri,
people were offering all respects,
people were offering him all respects.
but he didn't care for that.
But he didn't care for that.
He was thinking how he could bring the sandalwood and camphor or the Gopal deity.
But he was thinking, how can he bring the sandalwood and camphor for the Gopal deity?
Then was provided to him with a Brahmin and a carrier.
And it was then provided to him with a Brahmin and a carrier.
Now, we think how selfless was Madhavendra Puri.
So we think how selfless was Madhavendra Puri.
And if we're given some instruction that we should do something,
So it was given that some instructions that we should do something.
we'll say, oh, I need money, I need this, I need that.
So we'll say, I need money, I need this, I need that.
But Madhavendra Puri didn't have anything.
But Madhavendra Puri didn't have anything.
He just had love, he had faith.
He just had love, he had faith.
So he went.
So he went.
So it is truly amazing.
It is truly amazing. Wow.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Jai Madhavendra Puri Jai.
Jai Madhavendra Puri ki jai, Jai Prabhupada ki jai, Jai Guru Maharaj ki jai.
ভুকে রহে তবু অন্ন মাগিয়া না খায়, হেন জন চন্দন ভার বইয়া লইয়া যায়।
Although Madhavendra Puri was hungry, he would not beg food to eat. This renounced person carried a load of sandalwood for the sake of Sri Gopal.
Madhavendra Puri followed a system that he would not beg for food.
Madhavendra Puri followed a system that he would not beg for food.
If someone offered him, he'd eat.
If someone offers him, he eat.
If none offered him, he wouldn't eat.
No one offered him, he wouldn't eat.
So this kind of person would carrying a load of valuable sandalwood
This kind of a person taking a lot of valuable sandalwood
for the sake of Sri Gopal deity.
for the sake of Sri Gopal deity.
It's inconceivable
It is inconceivable
how Prabhupada went to the West on a ship
how Prabhupada went to the West on a ship
with no money,
with no money,
no companion,
no companion,
no followers.
no followers.
He went, established this worldwide movement of Krishna consciousness.
He went to establish this worldwide movement of Krishna consciousness.
Now he's following in the footsteps of Madhavendra Puri.
So he is following in the footsteps of Madhavendra Puri.
We're eternally indebted to Srila Prabhupada, we're indebted to Madhavendra Puri.
So we are eternally indebted to Srila Prabhupada and we are eternally indebted to Sri Madhavendra Puri. Hari Bol.
নিজের বহু দুঃখ সত্ত্বেও প্রভুর সেবাতেই পুরী আনন্দ মনে চন্দন তোলা অভিষেক কর্পূর গোপালে পরাইব এই আনন্দ প্রচুর
Without considering his personal comforts, Madhavendra Puri carried one mount about 82 pounds of sandalwood and 20 tolas, about 80 ounces of camphor to smear over the body of Gopal. This transcendental pleasure was sufficient for him.
I think a mound or 40 kilos of sandalwood
Actually, an amount of 40 kilos of sandalwood
is so valuable
is so valuable.
that it was very dangerous to carry it to all these provinces.
It's very dangerous to carry it through all these provinces.
But trying to please and carry out the order of Gopal,
Just to trying to please and carrying out the orders of Gopal,
he was experiencing transcendental pleasure.
he was experiencing transcendental pleasure.
Although it was a possibly impossible task.
So, although it was a possibly impossible task,
In the ecstasy of serving Lord Gopal,
in the ecstasy of serving Lord Gopal,
he didn't matter.
he didn't,
He was happy.
he was happy.
উৎকলের দানি রাখে চন্দন দেখিয়া তাহা এড়াইল রাজপত্র দেখাইয়া
Since there were restrictions against taking the sandalwood out of the Orissa province, the toll official confiscated the stock, but Madhavendra Puri showed him the release papers given by the government and consequently escaped difficulties.
But this paper would only work in the area of Orissa.
These papers would only work in the area of Orissa.
Once he left Orissa,
Once he had left Orissa,
Orissa king's paper would have no value.
the Orissa king's paper will have no value.
So they confiscated the sandalwood in Orissa.
So, if they would confiscate the sandalwood in Orissa,
Or to speak of in the other countries,
what to speak in the other countries?
or his release paper would have no value.
Where his release paper will have no values.
মেলচ্ছ দেশে দুর্প জগাতি অপার কেমতে চন্দন নিব নাহি বিচার
Madhavendra Puri was not at all anxious during the long journey to Vrindavan through the provinces governed by the Muslims and filled with unlimited numbers of watchmen.
সঙ্গে এক বোট নাহি ঘাটি দান দিতে তথাপি উৎসাহ বড় চন্দন লইয়া যাইতে।
Although Madhavendra Puri did not have farthing with him, he was not afraid to pass the toll officers. His only enjoyment was in carrying the load of sandalwood to Vrindavan for Gopal.
People in the material world, they do a work for salary.
So people in the material world, they do their work for salary,
And they want to get some sense gratification.
so that they want to get some sense gratification.
But that money is needed.
For that money is needed.
But Madhavendra Puri, he just wanted the satisfaction of Gopal.
But Madhavendra Puri, he just wanted the satisfaction of Gopal.
That was his pleasure, that was his happiness.
That was his only pleasure, that was his happiness.
So he didn't think of anything else.
So he didn't think of anything else.
This is the symptom of someone who has pure love for Lord Krishna.
This is the symptom of someone who has pure love for Lord Krishna.
Real love.
Real love for Lord Krishna.
কৃষ্ণ প্রেমিকের লক্ষণ। প্রগাঢ় প্রেমের এই স্বভাব আচার, নিজ দুঃখ বিঘ্ন আদির না করে বিচার।
This is the natural result of intense love of Godhead. The devotee does not consider personal inconveniences and impediments. In all circumstances, he wants to serve the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. It is natural for those who have developed intense love for Krishna not to care for personal inconvenience and impediments. Such devotees are simply determined to execute the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and His representatives, the spiritual master. In all circumstances, even amidst the greatest dangers, they undeviatingly carry on with the greatest determination. This definitely proved the intense love of the servitor. As stated in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Tattenukampan susimikshamana, those who seriously desire to get free from the clutches of material existence, who have developed intense love for Krishna, are worthy candidates for going back home, back to Godhead. An intense lover of Krishna does not care for any number of material discomforts, scarcity, impediments, and unhappiness, or distress. In a perfect Vaishnava, it is said that when one sees apparent unhappiness or distress in a perfect Vaishnava, it is not at all unhappiness for him. Rather, it is transcendental bliss. In the Sikshashtaka, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has instructed, Ashlishya va pada pratam pinashtu maam. The intense lover of Krishna is never deviated from his service, despite all difficulties and impediments brought before him.
So again, why the example of Madhavendra Puri?
So we are abiding by the example of Madhavendra Puri.
How His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada
How His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada
carried out the order of his spiritual master,
carrying out the order of his spiritual master,
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada.
Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada.
He went to the West without any money,
He went to the West without any money,
without any help,
without any help,
just to carry out the order.
just to carry out the order.
All glory to Srila Prabhupada.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
কৃষ্ণের স্বভাব ও মাহাত্ম্য প্রদর্শন। এই তার গাঢ় প্রেমা লোকে দেখাইতে, গোপাল তারে আজ্ঞা দিল চন্দন আনিতে।
Shri Gopal wanted to show how intensely Madhavendra Puri loved Krishna. Therefore, he asked him to go to Nilachal to fetch sandalwood and camphor.
Actually, to bring sandalwood and camphor Vrindavan from Jagannath Puri.
Actually, to bring sandalwood and camphor to Vrindavan from Jagannath Puri,
A logically an impossible task.
logically impossible task.
But Madhavendra Puri, out of his intense love for Krishna, he didn't hesitate to do it.
But Madhavendra Puri, out of his intense love for Krishna, he didn't hesitate to do it.
So Gopal is showing how Madhavendra Puri had such intense love for him.
Gopal is showing how Madhavendra Puri had such intense love for him.
It's an example for all the devotees to follow.
So, this is an example for all the devotees to follow.
বহু পরিশ্রমে চন্দন রেমুনা আনিল আনন্দ বাড়িল মনে দুঃখ না গনিল
With great trouble and after much labor, Madhavendra Puri brought the load of sandalwood to Remuna. However, he was still very pleased. He discounted all the difficulties.
ভক্তকে পরীক্ষা ও ভক্তের পরীক্ষা উত্তরণ পরীক্ষা করিতে গোপাল কইল আজ্ঞাদান পরীক্ষা করিয়া শেষে হইল দয়াবান
To test the intense love of Madhavendra Puri, Gopal, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, ordered him to bring sandalwood from Nilachal. And when Madhavendra Puri passed this examination, the Lord became very merciful to him.
So we see that Lord Gopal, he was testing Madhavendra Puri.
So we can see that Lord Gopal, he was testing Madhavendra Puri.
Madhavendra Puri showed that willing to go through all problems
Madhavendra Puri was showing that he is willing to go through all the problems
to serve Lord Krishna.
to serve Lord Krishna.
And then the Lord became merciful on him and said
And then the Lord became merciful on him and said
that he could apply the sandalwood to Gopinath.
he can apply the sandalwood to Gopinath,
That would cool him down.
and that would cool him down.
ভক্ত ও ভগবান পরস্পরের অলৌকিক রতি এই ভক্তি ভক্তপ্রিয় কৃষ্ণ ব্যবহার বুঝিতেও আমা সবার নাহি অধিকার
Such behavior exhibited in loving service between the devotee and the devotees. Devotee's lovable object Sri Krishna is transcendental. It is not possible for a common man to understand. Common men do not even have the capacity.
This activity of Madhavendra Puri is inconceivable for a common man.
This activity of Madhavendra Puri is inconceivable for a common man.
They go to all ends to achieve some object of their sense gratification.
They can go to all age to achieve the object of their sense gratification.
Get a gold medal in the Olympics.
To get a gold medal in the Olympics,
Do great austerities.
they do great austerities
Just to get a little name and fame.
just to get little name and fame.
But all Madhavendra Puri is doing something simply for the satisfaction of Krishna.
And how Madhavendra Puri is doing something simply for the satisfaction of Krishna,
With no sense gratification.
that was not sense gratification.
Rather, all kinds of difficulties and impediments.
Rather, all kinds of difficulties and impediments,
But he's happy to serve Krishna.
but he is happy to serve Krishna.
Now, this is not understandable by normal logic.
So we should not understand it by normal logics.
And it shows the excellence of Krishna Prema and how Krishna reciprocates with its pure devotee.
It shows the super excellence of Krishna Prema and how Krishna reciprocates with his pure devotees.
প্রভুর পরিকৃত অতুল মহিমান্বিত শ্লোক পাঠ বর্ণন। এত বলি পরে প্রভু তার কৃত শ্লোক, যে শ্লোক চন্দ্রে জগৎ করেছে আলোক।
After saying this, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu read the famous verse of Madhavendra Puri. That verse is just like the moon. It has spread illumination all over the world.
ঘষিতে ঘষিতে জয়ছে মলয় যশার, গন্ধবারে তৈছে ওই শ্লোকের বিচার।
Continuous rubbing increases the aroma of Malaya sandalwood. Similarly, consideration of this verse increases one's understanding of its importance.
রত্নগণ মধ্যে জয়ছে কৌস্তব মণি, রসকাব্য মধ্যে তৈছে ওই শ্লোক গণি।
As the Kaustubh money is considered the most precious of valuable stones, this verse is similarly considered the best poems dealing with the mellows of devotional service.
এই শ্লোক কহিয়াছেন রাধা ঠাকুরানী, তার কৃপায় স্ফুরিয়াছে মাধবেন্দ্র বাণী।
Actually, this verse was spoken by Srimati Radharani herself, and by her mercy only was it manifest in the words of Madhavendra Puri.
শ্রী রাধা মাধবেন্দ্র ও গৌর তিনেরই আস্বাদন যোগ্যতা, কিবা গৌরচন্দ্র ইহা করে আস্বাদন, ইহা আস্বাদিতে আর নাহি চৌঠজন।
Only Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has tasted this poetry of this verse. No fourth man is capable of understanding it. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada. This indicates that only Srimati Radharani, Madhavendra Puri and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are capable of understanding the purport of this verse.
শেষকালে এই শ্লোক পঠিতে পঠিতে সিদ্ধি প্রাপ্ত হইল পুরীর শ্লোকের সহিতে।
Madhavendra Puri recited this verse again and again at the end of his material existence. Thus, uttering this verse, he attained the ultimate goal of life.
That verse is from the Srimad Bhagavatam,
That verse is from the Srimad Bhagavatam.
and it's a verse of intense separation of Radharani for Krishna.
It's a verse of intense separation of Radharani for Krishna.
Because
From
Madhavendra
Krishna.
Puri
Because Madhavendra Puri
accepted initiation in the Madhva line,
accepted initiation in the Madhva line.
so therefore Lord Chaitanya accepted initiation from the dear disciple of Madhavendra Puri.
Therefore, Lord Chaitanya accepted initiation from the dear disciple of Madhavendra Puri.
That was a part of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya.
Thus, we are the part of the Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Do you like our ad-free videos? Be sure to subscribe to our channel. We publish new videos every day, and don't forget to like and share our channel.